So instead of our typical vlog this week, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video, doing a little bit of an update on my life now that I've been at school, and kind of going back to the beginning of how this journey began and when I got my diagnosis and stuff, for people who are maybe just like joining in on our journey now and who haven't gotten the full story of how we got here in the first place. So I'll start from the beginning and then I'll do my current updates right at the end of the video. So it's not that much of an exciting story, but the reason that I went into the doctor in the first place is kind of strange, because I was living my day-to-day life just fine. I really didn't have any symptoms, and then there was one week that the lymph nodes on the left side of my neck, right here and kind of down on my collarbone, became swollen. And they were just kind of sore at first, and so I kind of ignored it, and then they became pretty painful, so that's when I decided that I wanted to go into the doctor. So we went in, and I hadn't been sick recently, which is why it was strange that they were swollen. And we went in, and I got some antibiotics, and we're like, we'll check in next week and see if anything's different. And then we scheduled a needle biopsy. That was just the doctor. He said that as doctors, they always go from worst case scenario to best case scenario, so you want to rule out all the bad things first and then go from there. So eventually the antibiotics didn't really help. It was still, eventually the swelling and the pain did go away, but they were still there. So we did the biopsy, and that's when I got my diagnosis of Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that was like the end of July is when I started going into the doctor. So I got the news on July 25th, and it was very surreal and weird, because I went from being super healthy and not thinking that anything was wrong to getting this really big, serious diagnosis. So that was a really strange thing to kind of process. And just as I've taken it with this whole journey, it was kind of like, okay, like we know what it is, we know it's treatable, it's like one of the most curable types of cancer there is, let's treat it, let's go with it, and like move on with life. So it's just kind of like being as positive as possible and just kind of like tackling it that way, that you just kind of, you take the news, that's what it is, and we're just gonna keep going. So that was like the beginning of the journey. And then the rest of it's just been a lot of doctor's appointments. That's basically the main thing that's changed, is I'm a little bit more tired and I go to the doctor a lot more frequently. But that is truly a blessing, though, that my journey so far has been very, very manageable. And that's probably the best way I can describe it, because it hasn't been easy necessarily all the time, but every problem that we've run into, we've found something that helps make life a little bit more normal. So that's been really good. And honestly, with treatment and everything, everything's been going really well, it's going as planned, and I couldn't ask for a better scenario. Like I've always said, it's the best case worst scenario that we could have. But kind of a little update on currently what's going on in my life. I am wearing my wigs all the time now, and I'm getting some headscarves that I'm excited about. I lost all my hair, so that was like a weird transition to go through as well. But honestly, I've always wanted to do something like weird and different and dye my hair and cut it short and do something, but I never did because I was too scared. So in a way, that kind of took care of that, and now I've done my weird, crazy thing with my hair. So the wigs have been super comfortable actually, and they're really fun to wear, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on them, so that's been good. And then the other new big thing in my life is I did end up getting a port. So I got this on Friday, and I was really scared to go into the procedure in the first place, because it is an outpatient procedure, but they are like cutting into you and putting something in your body, so the whole idea kind of like freaked me out. But in the end, it was super easy. I basically took a nap the whole time, didn't know anything was going on, which was great. And like healing's been going really well. It's been 3 days now, and it's just, for people who don't know what a port is, it's basically a little small device that they put in right underneath my skin, and there's tubing that goes directly to the veins to my heart, so they'll be able to take blood draws directly from the port, and that's where I'll also receive my chemo treatment. So it's a lot easier because it's not going into the more delicate veins of my arms. And I actually had the past 2 treatments I did receive in my arm, and it's actually irritated my veins, and I've been dealing with a lot of unnecessary pain basically because my veins have been irritated from receiving that treatment. But this will completely get rid of it. It's never going to happen again, thank God, because that was not fun. But yeah, so I've been healing, everything's been going well, and we're receiving our next chemo treatment on Wednesday. So that'll be fun to go through it again, but truly, so far, everything's been really great. I have a bunch of amazing friends in DC who have been taking care of me, getting me groceries, bringing me food, just keeping me company, and I couldn't ask for a better support system, and that's really made this whole journey so much better. That's really made this whole journey that much easier, which has been amazing. So thank you guys so much for your support. I hope that you guys like this little update video and little bit like background of how we got here in the first place. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.